Who's how, Rams how, you know who we rollin' with. Rams Buzz Podcast, hit like, share and link. Who's how, Rams how, you know who we rollin' with. Rams Buzz Podcast, home of the champions. Who's how, Rams how, you know who we rollin' with. Rams Buzz Podcast, hit like, share and link. Who's how, Rams how, you know who we rollin' with. Rams Buzz Podcast, home of the champions. When I need a scoop on the league, I hit up the dream team. Go to Rams Buzz.
Welcome to the Golden Round Buzz Podcast with Damon and Sal. Today our guest will be Chris Strait, representing the Rams Republic. This episode is sponsored by the Brea Bakery bread as Recover Energy Drink. Sal, what's up, Sal? How you doing today?
Still recovering from that Packer loss, but it's all good.
Speaking of that Packer loss, Sal, let me talk about what happened. The Rams lose to Green Bay 24-19. Stafford was 29-45, 260 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. Mm-hmm. For the year, Stafford has thrown 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Kyron Williams, 22 for 102, 1 TD, but a key fumble close to the red zone. Blake Corum makes an appearance. 5 carries for 25 yards. And then the Packer guy, Xavier McKinley, 5 games, 5 interceptions, Sal. And then also, we discussed last week the Rams red zone. And it happened again. Sal, just describe to us the first play the Rams had, driving, get to the goal line. What happened?
The play calling's been kind of tough to understand. But, you know, as I watch the Rams play, I mean, I'm always conscious of not having your 2 starting receivers, tight end. So it does kind of limit the Rams' options. And but I still think that, I mean, I'm a big fan of running the football, especially with Kyron. I think it gives the Rams a better option. I know the offensive line's beat up, but, I mean, we have both our tackles back, and we're starting to, you know, come together as a team. And there's still plenty of time to get it right. You know, I mean, we're fortunate that the other teams in the division are also losing. So gives us a better opportunity to get back into it again.
Now, the Rams lost 24-19. And I always count points later on if the Rams win or lose. I always, count points. So the first drive of the game, the Rams 4th and 4. They don't convert. Say that's 3 points, okay? That's 3 points lost. And then Cardi misses the extra point. That's 4 points. And at the end of the game, the Rams were driving. The whole situation could have been changed if the Rams only needed a field goal. So I said those 3 points and that extra point may be costly because the Rams have kryptonite in the red zone. They can't seem to do anything in the red zone. I don't understand why. You know, I just don't get it. And then we get there, we get stagnant, and we don't run the ball. I don't know what it is. And then they try to do like these, try to throw it.
It's almost like they're like forcing the ball. Right?
Yeah, it's forcing the ball. And it's like, and then the Rams are driving, 2 straight. Is the red zone counted kind of towards the 20-yard line? That's when the red zone starts, or is it 10? Yeah.
It's like inside the red 20-yard line.
So Kyron Williams at 23-yard line fumbles the ball. Green Bay gets his scores. And Matthew Stafford throws an interception. Green Bay gets it.
They both result in scores.
Let me tell you something. Jordan Love threw the first pick 6 ever in his career, Sal. And Jalen interception 4 yards. Byron Young rush. Kind of like a fluke play, but it's still the Rams defense scored. Now I'm going to tell you a stat. The Rams are 1-4, but they're 0-3 against teams from the NFC North. They lost by 6 to the Lions, correct? Overtime.
Yes.
They lost by 6 to the Bears. And they just lost by 5 to Green Bay. Now,
right. But see, it's interesting because, I mean, stats make sense, but I've never been a stat guy, but stats make sense, but also stats are confusing. Because right now the Rams offense, I believe, is ranked like 15th. We actually have more offensive yards than the Minnesota Vikings, and they're undefeated. So really, and then in defense, we rank like 31st out of 32 teams. But as you watch the game, you see the opportunities there. But when you have a young team, you're going to make mistakes like that. Like our defense, we're getting penetration and getting in the backfield, but you got to tackle. We've had a lot of missed tackles, and that hurt the Rams.
Also momentum, Sal. I believe we stopped Green Bay on a drive. Oh, penalty, 12 men on the field. I'm like, come on.
That's inexcusable.
That's basic.
That's inexcusable.
That's basic math.
That's crazy. I mean, plays like that are just tough. Even, that one play where, we had 3 defenders and the receiver makes the reception. But, the Rams just activated Witherspoon, right? I mean, that angle he took was terrible, and he kind of actually took out the other two defenders with that play. So, but it's the NFL, and you're talking about the Lions. You're talking about Green Bay. These are Super Bowl contenders that the Rams are playing. The Rams are second youngest team in the NFL. I mean, the Rams aren't. If the Rams were at full strength and they were losing these games, I could understand the frustration, but the Rams are competing, and that's what's so encouraging.
The Rams are this close
Oh, they're this
close to being 4-1. They only got blown out by the Cardinals. And how they got blown out by the Cardinals, one play always changes the complexion of a game.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, you remember the Rams are driving fourth down, they get stopped. Cardinals blow them out. But every game they're in, against the heavy hit, okay, maybe not the Bears, but now the Bears have confidence, it seems like. But Detroit, overtime. It's like, come on, Green Bay, we're this close to getting it. We just stopped those penalties that are just killing the team. Just like momentum driving. Like, come on, Rams. And to watch the game with a Green Bay fan, the Rams were driving on the last drive, and the Green Bay fan's like, he's breaking it down. Like, Al Mike, I'm like, what are you, Al Mike? He's like, watch this. They're gonna go to Parkinson because that's the guy that can get open, and he's big and bold and stuff like that. Yeah. The last play of the drive, and
and it sounds predictable, but really the Rams are limited with their options, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you had Jordan Whittington, was another option, but you saw him where he kind of fell on his shoulder, kind of injured his shoulder. But every pass that's thrown in the Rams, deep downfield or just downfield is like a 50-50 ball, right? The Rams don't have, there's not one guy that you can say, 80, 90%, percentage that he's going to make a reception. We just don't have that guy right now. So the fact that Stafford is ranked number 7 and passing yards is pretty impressive to throw into backup, receivers and tight end. So you can look at it either way, but it's really, to me, it's still encouraging the fact that other teams in our division are losing. So we still have a great opportunity. Once we start getting players back, get veteran players back, you're going to have fewer and fewer mistakes. And so I think the Rams will then get on this, hot streak and be able to take that division.
What do you think about Blake Corum making an appearance? 5 rushing yards, 5 carries for 25 yards, 5 yards.
Oh, it was great. Carry. Yeah, it was great to see him in there. But that fumble by Kyron. I love trying to get additional yardage, but you know what? It's hard to be mad at someone when the first thing he says is, "Hey, you know what? That's on me. My bad. It's never acceptable." When a player says that, you just got to go with it because. He works hard, big, team player, and I never put it on, I never blame one player for situations like that.
And that Stafford interception, I saw from my perspective, Tutu, he was double teamed, and Tutu's small. Yeah. Come on, you just put 2 guys around him. I don't think he's fighting for just push him on the side. He's flying. Come on now, he's so small. I don't think he would have caught that.
Well, he's improved a lot though since he's come into the league. But you know what? I think as Ram fans are so, we're still shocked from that Tavon Austin, that Tavon Austin experience.
I used to do the
he left a bad taste. Yeah, he left a bad taste in a lot of Ram fans. So when we drafted Tutu, he never really got an opportunity. And then you remember that time when he returned that kickoff and he fell into football, remember? And he got injured and it's like, oh, wow. Okay, here we go.
I don't mean to laugh.
I like Tutu, but you got to, his options, and you got to put him in a situation where he's going to be able to beat you. The best way to do that is with the speed. And nobody can keep up with him, downfield.
And then trying to go for the 2-point conversion, I was just like,
I didn't understand that. I'm like, that's, but it was crazy though, because as bad, as the Rams played, they actually could have won that game. That game was a winnable game. But you saw in the last play where the ball was intercepted or the ball was batted away with Parkinson. Stafford gets like that. Same thing in the Super Bowl where it was just, with injured players, it just became Stafford and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, and this time it's Stafford.
And eventually, when you defend one receiver or one tight end, it makes it a lot easier for the defense.
I think Demarcus Robinson had 1 catch or something like that. I think he had one catch. Yeah. That one where he jumped up in the air and caught that one. That
was pretty impressive, though.
And then our boy Cardi's missing. He missed an extra point. Then before that, he missed a field goal. Cardi, I put my trust. I'm about to get a Cardi jersey now. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but it's just like. It's just we're so close. I'm like, dang, I broke it down 6 points, 5 points, and it's like 16 points total. We're this close because we're 4-1. We could be in the division, but that doesn't count because it's like, but this bye kind of the perfect time. Rest the guys now.
Definitely.
Do you think who comes back, Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp come back first?
Well, I say for sure Cooper Kupp
first.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp will be back. That'll be a big lift for the Rams, receiving core, because I mean it's like having another coach on the field and adding one guy. I mean right now the Rams aren't really commanding double coverage for any of our receivers, so it's really hard. But once Cooper Kupp comes back, I mean the whole dynamics of the second, of the Rams receiving core would give the secondary a lot more fits. So I think we'll be fine.
And to me, I mean, I don't want no defense to go score 20, but every game, like the last 3 or 4 games, 24 points, like Bears 24, Green Bay 24, Lions, of course, a lot of points, but they're a Super Bowl contender. Arizona blew us out, but I'm just like, the Rams are right there, man. I just know that youth is just right there. They're there, man. I can see it. I can see it.
I mean, when you watch Byron Young and you see, Jared Verse, and I mean, we have a lot of young defensive players. Once they get it together, though, I mean, they're going to be tough to stop. To have 3 major, defenders on defense will help the Rams out. Yeah, we're going the efforts there. That's the key. I mean, the Rams are playing hard. They're just, you're making mistakes, and which is causing, the Rams losses.
Well, we know this week they won't lose or not even win because there's a bye, comes at the perfect time.
Well, actually,
rest those
with
bones.
all the Rams injuries, the bye actually is like a victory.
I don't want to hear nothing during the bye. Yeah. Hey, somebody tore their wrist getting a sandwich out the refrigerator or something like, those quirky baseball injuries people would get. Somebody broke their foot.
Carrying your, going to the mall and carrying the bags of the car.
Come on, anything could happen. Yeah. With that being, let's go to the last week's scores as well. Some surprises. The Vikings beat the Jets 23-17. Speaking of the Jets, Robert Saleh got fired today, Sal, and he got escorted out the building. Yes, that never happens to a coach. What do you think was really going on to drag him out the building, to not say bye to your coaches, to not say bye to your former players?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because the same thing happened to the Rams' longtime equipment manager, Todd Hewitt. When the Rams let him go, when Coach Spagnuolo took over in 2009, when they let Todd Hewitt go, he said, okay, I'll come back. It was a Friday, I believe. And he said, I'll come back on Saturday and clean out my locker. They're like, no, you got to do it now. And so they walked him to his locker and he had to gather his belongings and stuff. So I think that might be just the way the NFL is today.
But when Adam Gase got fired, they said they should just, okay, bye, that's it. But to get escorted, that must be some stuff to get escorted out. You think coaches get fired? Okay, he left. But
what's embarrassing, but Woody Johnson hired him.
Yeah, but in your mind, you're thinking the worst of the thing. In your mind, you're like, dang, he got picked up by bodyguards and escorted. Push that.
But that team is a mess, right? Yeah, I mean, you look at I think it's been a while, since since Ryan coached them, that they were pretty, that they were actually contenders, but. That team is in disarray, and it's been in disarray for a while, and I think it starts with ownership.
The new head coach, y'all, Aaron Rodgers. Am I right or wrong? I thought he was a head coach before.
He's a coach killer, huh?
he's a new head coach of the Jets.
But isn't it funny because, you saw him on the sidelines, right? I mean, the fans see what they see.
Yeah.
And now he's like, I had no problem with him. We were tight. We're good friends. I'm like, I think he's just saying that to save face, but there was something. He probably wanted him out.
Yeah. But I don't know who the new coach is because Nathaniel Hackett from Fullerton. But he's not the best coach because he went to Denver, got fired. He doesn't call. They don't like it, so he's a new coach. I don't know, man. It's like a carousel of coaches in the New York Jets.
Yeah, but it's funny when you when the Jets, when they signed Aaron Rodgers, they kind of catered to him, right? They built their team around him, and then you end up getting fired.
Yeah,
but Saleh is a good defensive coordinator.
He'll be back.
I like him as a defensive coordinator. Yeah, he'll get an opportunity again. Yeah.
The Bengals lose to the Ravens 41-38.
Oh man, that game was amazing.
Yeah. Are the Bengals done, Sal, or what's their situation, you think?
Not really. I mean, if you look at Joe Burrow, you see his numbers. His numbers are impressive. I mean, he's like number 1 or number 2, in stats and stuff. He's doing his job, but they start out the season on the wrong foot. I mean, you got to get these players signed. You got to, everybody's got to be on the same page. And it looks like the Bengals, which have been like that for a couple of years, just, everyone kind of doing their own thing. And it's tough for a quarterback to try and keep a team together when, the coach and owner, aren't doing what they need to do.
The Commanders beat the Browns 34-13.
The Commanders are amazing, though.
What? Right? They're in first place. I can't believe that.
They're playing good football, too. I mean, Jaden Daniels, I mean, it's nice to get that type of quarterback play, right?
Yeah.
Especially a rookie. But he's a natural leader, and their team's following him, so it's going to be interesting.
The Texans beat the Bills 23-20.
I like that.
I got a funny stat for this Bronco Raider game, Sal. The Broncos beat the Raiders 34-18, and something happened in that game that hasn't happened in 22 years. Do you know what that was?
No, but anytime it involves the Raiders, I mean,
The Raiders made history because they threw an interception to a white cornerback. There's no the last time a white cornerback intercepted a pass, I think it was Jason Sehorn.
It was.
The white corner. Sorry, I forgot his name. He plays for the Denver Broncos. Raiders, you guys are making history yet again, Raiders. But they said first time in 22 years, a white cornerback has intercepted a pass.
But the stats are kind of funny, right? I mean, but the Raiders always seem to be, linked to these
part
kind
of
of
history.
I'll
bring
but not on the good side of
I'll bring the history of factor about next week when we play them. I got a perfect history factor for them.
Well, that'll be cool.
The Giants beat Seattle. I love
that.
I love that too. I couldn't
yeah.
believe that. I was like, wait.
See, that's what I mean. I mean, everybody was down on on the Giants. You never know. The NFL is crazy. Everybody, Ram fans get, they attack their own team, but it's like, it's a long season. I never get nervous. You don't really even know what type of team you have until like at least, the 10th, 11th game. Yeah. So we're good. We're good.
The Cards beat the Niners 24-23. I love that.
I love that too, right? I mean, who would have 49ers were like Super Bowl contenders, right? I mean, look how far they've fallen. And right now they're, it doesn't look like they're going to get back in line. That division is wide open, and the Rams have, 2 games against Seattle. So
yeah,
our opportunities are going to be there.
Great game. Cowboys beat the Steelers 20-17. Dak Prescott throws like a last-second touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Great game. That was a great, amazing game. What did you think about that game?
Mm-hmm.
That was a great game.
Yeah, that game was wild, huh?
Yeah, it was.
And I think there was another record, like some crazy record that I think he threw like a touchdown in 2 days, right? Because the game was delayed, so it was like another day when he threw another pass. Yeah, in the same game, but another day.
That was last week's game. Now, introducing our guest. Joining us after the break will be Chris Strait from Rams Republic.
Oh, okay.
Can't wait to see what he has to say. Coming up next, Chris Strait. Major shout out to our sponsor, La Brea Bakery Bread. You can find La Brea Bakery Bread at all your local retail stores in the bakery section. Once again, take and bake with La Brea Bakery Bread. Joining us now, he's been DJing for 8 years. He's been DJing for the Rams Republic Fan Club at the tailgates. He DJs at King's Fan Fest, and he's been a Ram fan since 2017. When you go to the tailgate, he makes sure everything is straight and in order. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Strait.
What's up, boy?
How you doing? Thanks for joining us, dog.
Hell yeah.
So you've been DJing for 8 years, right?
Wait, 8 years. Yep,
okay. How'd you get your start? What made you get into DJing?
So back in a while ago, my uncle started. He was DJing. He's the DJ in the family. And I used to go into his room as a kid and mess with his turntables and all that. And fast forward to about 2016, 17, he gave me a little turntable set, and I just started going off of that, and then that just took off from there. And yeah, all of a sudden the Rams Republic called me, and I went to a game, and they asked me to DJ their tailgates, and yeah, off it went.
How did the Rams Republic even find you or even hit you up to be their DJ? Like, you're starting off, you're like fresh, you probably don't ever DJ like in a big crowd. How did they find you to even DJ?
So back in 2016, I went to a game with my friend. Shout out to Carlos.
Okay.
And he took me, and that's actually my first live NFL game at the Coliseum.
Oh wow!
The Rams were playing, and we rolled up to the tailgate, and it was a little quiet. And they were like, well, we need some music. So I was like, okay, I can bring some next week. So next week came, I brought the smallest computer speakers and small laptop and all that. And it wasn't even loud enough. So the week after, I came back with some bigger speakers and rocked it out.
And you've been DJing for them ever since?
Ever since, yeah.
Were you nervous when you first started DJing at the Coliseum? We're like, okay, damn, I'm DJing for this booster club and figuring things out and like.
Not really too nervous. Just only the nerves kind of got me once I started setting up, just make sure I got everything ready to go. Once I hear sound out of the speakers and start playing, nerves kind of go away, and it's just all fun.
And how I found you is because I walk Booster Club Row a lot. And I was like, I was just walking, I observed people and stuff like that before we start our tailgate. And I was like, why is everybody just dancing and grooving? Like, I was watching, you didn't even know I was watching. I'm just listening, watching the tunes you're playing, watching everybody dance. I'm like, okay, who is this guy? I just sat there and just played the role. Just watched, okay, everybody like dancing. Rams Chula's always dancing, having fun.
Oh, yeah.
I seen her setting it off. I'm like, okay. And then that's when I was like, okay, I got to see who this guy is. And I did some, you said you DJ for the Kings Fan Fest.
Yeah.
Like, what? So tell us about that as well, the Fan Fest. What's that about?
So the Kings Fan Fests, they're before every, usually it's a Saturday game
Okay.
or a large game, big game, playoff game.
Versus the Ducks.
Oilers, Knights. So Saturday home games, we get out there. Fan Fest is about 5 o'clock,
okay.
And I play from 5 to 7. We just get the fans all fired up. We got different things heading out there, like food and table games and all that, just to get the fans kind of getting ready for the game. I DJ for those 2 hours, and then after that, get to go in and enjoy the game.
Now, is a Fan Fest as big as a tailgate, or is it just a different type of vibe or energy?
Fan Fest is a different type of vibe.
It's
I would say, pretty much a large tailgate.
Oh, it is? Okay.
It's just family friendly. Everybody's invited. You don't have to have a ticket to go to the Fan Fest. So you can just come on up to Staples Center, well now Crypto.com Arena, and enjoy the Fan Fest. And if you don't have a ticket, you could just come in and have fun and take off. But yeah, it's a great environment.
So my question is this: do you do the Fan Fest sometimes and the Rams tailgate the next morning?
No.
So, I was like, how you do that?
It hasn't worked out like that yet.
It will.
I think this season there will be a conflict. We have a Rams Cardinals game that date is TBD.
To be determined.
In December.
Yes.
And then we have a Kings Fan Fest that weekend. So that might be my first double header, which is fine by me.
But you've never DJ'd Saturday Fan Fest and the next morning, hey.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Or a Kings game, or should like the Rams game into 4. Okay, go Kings game. You have to set up by.
Yeah,
Woo,
no. So
man.
Saturday Fan Fest 5 to 7. Then I'm in the game. I'm at the game from 7 to 10. And then home and loading up the car for the tailgate next morning. And then, we're out there at 5 a.m., 5:30 in the morning.
My next question, what made you a Rams fan? How long you been a Rams fan, and what made you interested in the Rams?
So I'm pretty much a newer Rams fan.
Okay.
I started becoming a fan in 2016 when Carl's brought me out to that game. And just the atmosphere and the fun, the fans, that's what kind of got me hooked. The tailgate culture, the vibe. I had never been to a football game, an NFL game before since then. So yeah, that kind of got my kickstart for the Rams, and then just learn the history.
Are you a season ticket holder as well, or are you just coming to the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's your section at?
I'm in 546.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go to every Rams game, even the Super Bowl, the playoff games and all that?
Playoffs. I was lucky enough to go to the Super Bowl as well.
I was there too, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Pins and needles all the way, right?
So when you DJ for the Rams Republic, what time do you get there in the tailgate line? Do they hold a spot for you, or do you line up and then you set up as well?
We line up at about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning with everybody else.
Yeah.
And we kind of just mosey on in, 8 a.m., gates open, and we're setting up with everybody else. Usually we're all at like 5 a.m., 5:30, just playing music before the game, before the gates open. Yeah,
that's cool. And as you guys can see, we're gonna go. We're gonna show you guys footage of Chris DJing at the tailgate. As you can see, hey, he gets down on the 1s and 2s. I went up in there with Angel and Jason. We walked around. We videotaped Chris and the 1s and 2s. I even saw a plate of food over there. You're like eating and DJing.
Got multitasking a little bit.
I saw that, man. Yeah,
things,
it was a good vibe, man. It was a good energy. I saw that where you saw us walk up on you. Yeah. Hey, we're just gonna get some footage of you. You're like, oh, we're like, wow, I'm watching you. We're like, I'm recording. Hey, y'all, they can see, but yeah, man. Hey. So you said you've been a Rams fan since 2016.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite all-time Rams player? Because, you said you attended the first game in 2016. Do you have a favorite all-time Rams player?
My all-time Rams player would have to be Aaron Donald, for sure. Just his work ethic, his demeanor, his Mamba mentality, his take no days off. He's just definitely a person, a role model to follow and to aspire. Football and outside of football, just life, And
the Rams are sure missing him now.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Rams game you attended live in person?
Favorite Rams game attended in person, that to be Super Bowl, for sure. Yeah. that game had everything. We were on our toes, on pins and needles that whole game, and up until that AD sack, we were like, okay, this we might be in trouble.
And the key play people forget about is Eric Weddle, the third down before that.
Yeah.
31, he knocked that guy down.
Yep.
I forgot, was it Wiggins or somebody? He just stopped in there and down and got the sacked or quarterback pressure, almost sacked. Were you at the KC Rams game? Of course, that's the best regular season game ever.
So that one there. So back then I was still in school. I was going to school.
Okay.
And I had a test that day. Physics test that I couldn't miss.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's
so
very important. Yeah.
I had the test going and I had my phone like way down here. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that and do that. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention at all. I don't know what I got in that test. But I was watching the game and I was like, oh my God, why am I of all the games?
You know how that correlates to today? Because that's the last time Kareem Hunt scored a touchdown for the Chiefs, and then he scored a touchdown for the Chiefs versus in the game with the Monday night. Against the Saints. They said that's the last time he scored was against the Rams as the Chiefs. I'm like,
exactly.
Man, that shootout. Oh yeah, I rewatched. I'm like, yeah, he did score, but man, once again, thank you.
Appreciate you.
We love that. I love that Super Bowl because the Rams won. Every game,
my favorite game was the Rams win.
So, oh man, my heart's still thinking about it. Every time I know how the victory's going to happen, but I still watch it like, get him here. Okay, cool. It's like crazy.
A question for you though. Besides that Super Bowl, what is your favorite game?
Thank you for that question.
That and the Chiefs. Besides those two, your favorite game that you come in person?
Playoff game versus the Cardinals, because the Rams have made the playoffs, and it's like Matthew Stafford's here. It's their first year there, and the Cardinals, the build up, like, okay, because the Cardinals came in hot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just the build up, the tailgate. Everybody's like, you got to think of they always ask me, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? I said, Rams are going to win. But how many? Like, they want me specifically to be right. I'm like, Rams are going to win. Yeah. I don't know. I said field goal, 34 something. Yeah. And the Rams just, going on that run. It's like,
and that game right there, I was there at that game. That was one of the louder SoFi environments because it was just all Rams fans, nobody else, like 5 Cardinals fans were there. And it was just, it was fun.
Especially because after that, they're going to go on the road and it's like, okay, if the Rams do what they do, then I may be here. And it's like, just that first, of course, the Niners game when they came back, but that very first playoff game against Arizona, it's like, wow, the Rams are in the playoffs at SoFi. Yeah. The Super Bowl's in SoFi. If they could do this, I'm thinking in my head, if they can run the table.
This was it.
This is the start of this is the beginning of it. You know what I'm saying? This is the genesis of it. They have to win this game to even go on. And then Kyler Murray threw that interception. And the guy, I was like,
the rest was history.
Oh, man. Yes. So
what a day.
Thank you, Strait.
Thank you. Thank you, Demo.
Appreciate you. It's all Strait. Representing the Rams Republic.
Hey.
Pink and polished. You guys give me a 2X. I need an XL. You think I'm that big? Look at this.
We got you.
That's all I love, y'all. Hey, catch him at the tailgate, October 20th versus the Raiders. Rams Republic. Big shout out to Pink. Big shout out to Paul. Big shout out to the whole team at Rams Republic. Everything is straight because Chris is on the 1s and 2s. Whose house?
Rams house.
Whose house?
Rams house.
Whose house?
Rams house.
Yeah, baby. Chris Strait. Thank you for being our guest, baby.
Let's do it.
Welcome back. That was a great interview with Chris Strait to hear his perspective from a new Rams fan, 2016, and just see his enthusiasm and how we got DJing for the Rams Republic. But every time I walk over there, they're always jamming. I'll be watching them. Like that's how I can say I recruited them. I'm watching them like, okay, who is this guy? Okay, what's his name? I like follow them and stuff, just watching. Everybody, they're always dancing over there, and they're just having a good time. So I DM'd him. I was like, hey, man, I would like you on our show. Like, I've been watching you for the last year. He probably like,
definitely.
That's how I found Dazzler. I just be stalking people, like, see their energy and just walk up and down. They never know. You guys never know who I'm recruiting. So when I walk down Booster Club, bro, I'm saying hi, but I'm doing my due diligence on you guys. Once again, Sal, let's go over these week games. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go through some key games. Seattle versus Niners, Sal. Who you got and why?
That game I'm going for, it's tough to say, but 49ers.
Sal Martinez said the 49ers. Because why?
I mean, of course, it would be to the Rams' advantage. But either or, it's still going to be to the Rams' advantage. But, I'd much rather deal with Seattle than the 49ers.
Plus, Seattle's in first place, guys. If the Niners will beat them, then the Rams are like only a game behind. That division's up for grabs. This is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the Rams are.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Last week it was like, the season's up. Now they're 1-4, and then if Seattle loses, Seattle's 3. Everybody's 3-3 in the division. The Cardinals are 3-3 as well, and the Rams are 1-4. They'll be a game behind.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like.
But I think that's why a lot of guys, especially a lot of people, like you hear them say it's a must win, and it's not really a must win. I mean, it's important, but it's not a must win. Must win doesn't happen till.
Must win was last year when the Rams were 3-7. Every game was must win
because
that was, and they because they ended the season. The last game they lost, they ended season 10-7. They lost to the Ravens. That's the last time they lost until the playoffs. Speaking of the Ravens, they play the Commanders. That's gonna be an amazing game. That's gonna tell me how much the Commanders are, where they really are. Because remember, the Ravens start off 0-2. Now the Ravens are in first place, Sal. See how quick it switches?
Yeah.
What do you think about that game?
It's going to be a great game. I mean, having two quarterbacks, go at it. I like them both. I'll go with Ravens.
I got the Commanders in a surprise. Not upset, but I'm going to see how good Jaden Daniels really is against that defense. So I got the Commanders. Cards and Packers.
Cards and Packers. I'll go for Green Bay. I think Green Bay beats them.
We need Green Bay. Imagine, Sal, Cards lose, Seattle loses. Then who's in first place? San Francisco. Oh, that'd be crazy. Oh, man. Ooh, I don't want to. I need the Niners to beat Seattle. Okay, guys,
there's so many ups and downs.
Yeah, there's so many ups and downs.
Right?
Yeah. I'm gonna love this game. Steelers and the Raiders. Are they playing in Vegas?
Yeah, they're gonna be. That's an old. Too historical, right?
Yeah, it's AFC.
Yeah, traditional. Those games are always great, but with the Raiders, you just don't know what you're going to get, right? But the same thing with Pittsburgh too.
I don't think we're going to get a victory. I think the Steelers beat the Raiders, and the Raiders come to SoFi, and the Rams beat the Raiders, and the Raiders season is officially over after that. After two,
if you're taking those type of losses, yeah.
I know you like to say, hey, the season's a marathon, but when it comes to the Raiders, the next two games you lose, your season is over. Wrap. KC's
over.
KC's 5-0. It's over. Like, come on. Lions and Cowboys would be a good game. I'm going for the Lions in that game. I think the Lions win.
Cowboys have a good defense, though.
Yeah, I think they win.
I think the Lions. Yeah, Lions are a good team, but I think Cowboys could beat them.
The Bills and the Jets. Jets have a new head coach coming in that game Monday night.
Bills will beat them.
But you know what's crazy, Sal? This is going to sound funny. If the Jets beat the Bills, the Jets are in first place.
Mm-hmm.
Let me repeat that. If the Jets beat the Bills, the Jets are in first place. Wow.
That's hard to believe.
This is crazy. This NFL. Yeah. This game. Chargers and the Broncos. What's going to happen? 3-3 tie? 7-6 game?
Denver quietly is starting to put together a pretty good team.
Yes.
Right. Chargers, I think they're going to have some issues with quarterback, it looks like they're more committed to the run, and Herbert is like a fish out of water right now. He really doesn't know his role, and I think he's starting to get frustrated.
Now there's two undefeated teams, the Chiefs and the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Chiefs are amazing. They're 5-0. They're not, getting the respect. Travis Kelce had a great game. They're just cruising along. They do.
But what's crazy? You know who leads the NFL in interceptions?
Patrick Mahomes?
Mahomes.
How many?
I think he has 9 or something.
And nobody brings that up.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why
nobody cares if you're 5-0. Like, hey, if Matthew Stafford threw 20 interceptions right now, and the Rams were 5-0, I'm like, hey, we're 5-0, 20 interceptions. But that's what come on now. He has Juju Smith-Schuster. He has people worthy. He just throws. They're amazing. Like I said, they're going to win the AFC West. They may go 13-4. I'll tell you right now, Raider fans, you're going to win maybe one game against KC. Then it'll be your Super Bowl like last year. KC will lose. Yeah, KC will lose a quirky game. They'll lose to the Broncos. Oh man. But they're going to be they're going to win the division, have a first round bye, and kind of be in the AFC Championship game again, Sal. Yeah. And what do you think about the Vikings? Another 5-0. Do you believe in the Vikings? They're coming into SoFi in a couple of weeks.
They're a good team. They're a solid team. But every team in the NFL, I think, is beatable. There's not one team that, that I've seen that's just dominating the NFL.
And I've seen a lot. Sam Darnold makes a lot of mistakes by the red zone. That was a great interview with Chris Strait. Sal, now let's talk about this Thursday night game. AFC West opponent, Seattle Niners. Who you got and why?
Well, either way, we win, right? But I'm going for the Niners. Tough to say, but I'm going for the Niners to beat Seattle, I think. But either way, it's going to help the Rams. But I'm going for the Niners to knock Seattle off. Ravens
versus Commanders. I got the Commanders.
Yeah, boy, it's going to be a great game. I mean, you have a young quarterback in Daniels and stuff. But I think the Ravens are playing good football. It looks like Lamar Jackson's starting to kind of find his groove and stuff. So I think the Ravens will win that game.
Cards and Packers. I got the Packers.
Cards and Packers. Yeah, I mean the Cardinals will they'll give them a game, but I think Packers win that game.
And then of course the Steelers and the Raiders. Steelers fans are going to take over Vegas. I believe the Steelers. I think it's
you think so?
I think it's a Raiders home. Well, Raiders home away game. One of those games. I got the Steelers beating the Raiders.
Yeah, it is. It's in Vegas. Yeah, Steelers do have a good following. I think, I'd have to go with the Steelers too.
This is a great
Sorry,
game.
Mike.
Lions and Cowboys. I got the Lions beating the Cowboys.
It's going to be an interesting game, but the Cowboys are so hard to predict. But if Cowboys are on, they can beat anyone. I think the Cowboys will beat the Lions.
Chargers and Broncos. I got the Broncos.
That was easy.
The Broncos.
Yeah.
And this game is a Monday night game, Bills and Jets. If the Jets beat the Bills, the Jets are in first place. Let me repeat that. You 2 Jets fans out there, I believe. If the Jets beat the Bills, the Jets are in first place with a new head coach. What are your thoughts on that game?
Well, it's crazy to fire your coach, right, when you're only really 1 game out of first place, right? So there must have been some pattern or something that he thought he had to, get rid of him now. But I don't know. I think Buffalo wins that game.
Hey, can't wait. We have no pressure on us. The Rams have a bye. We ain't got to worry about nothing.
That's the best part about it, right?
I'm just going to chill and just watch.
Be happy on Thursday.
Yeah, so. I'll be happy. With that being said, another episode of Golden Round Buzz with Damon and Sal. Big shout out to our guest, Chris Strait, representing awesome. Rams Republic. Pink and Paul, extra large, please, because look at y'all. Got me. It's all love. Whose house? Rams house. Whose house? Rams house. Whose house? Rams house.
Golden Rams Buzz Podcast. Golden Rams Barbershop. Okay, Golden Rams Buzz Podcast. Home of the champions. Golden Rams Barbershop. Golden Rams Buzz Podcast.